Hello, our group consists of Cindy Young, Hunter Lam, Bao Zhai, and Sierra Pham, and our topic is the historiography of Empress Dowager Cixi, the vicious woman who, according to popular belief, alone stands responsible for the devastating fall of the Qing dynasty. Unit 3, Chapter 31, pages 738 to 739, covers the waning days of the Qing dynasty in the modern period after Europe's rapid industrialization. Following the death of Emperor Xiangfei in 1861, Empress Cixi rose from her lowly position as concubine to co-regent. Under this position, she consolidated her power, becoming the de facto ruler of China. During her reign, the Qing dynasty faced a number of challenges, like rebellions, famine, and political and economic instability, all initiated by Western invasion fueled by xenophobia. Cixi is known for her vicious hatred for foreigners and selfish corruption, which is characterized most by her backing of the Boxer rebellions, along with using reform money to buy a marble boat. Thus, as the Republic of China and later the PRC came into power, Cixi became the sole blame for the Qing dynasty's fall. Nothing supports this better than Chinese Lives by Victor H. Mayer, Samping Chen, and Francis Wood, a book published in 2013 that lists and summarizes the most important historical figures throughout China's history. In a book of biographies, Cixi alone was titled The Manchu Ruler Who Brought Down the Qing. However, qualified as they are, would three men really care to understand the nuances of Cixi's rule? Female Empress, The Nature of Female Power, a book published in 2024 by Brent Hinch, though perhaps unreliable in the way that it ignores Cixi's materialism, is important for providing context to the image of the Empress. As stated, history has not been kind to Cixi. Popular imagination has seen Cixi as the main villain because, according to historiographic convention, an evil woman appears at the moment of a dynasty's final crisis. However, this ignores Cixi's attempts to restore the empire through technological innovation and Western diplomacy. In actuality, is the fall of European intervention, as shown by the Opium Wars, not the mere negligence of one empress.
Factors in mind, our group aims to answer the question, how has Empress Cixi been unfairly represented throughout history? As it becomes clear that Cixi's faultiness has been greatly exaggerated, why is it that she in particular has been blamed for the dynasty's decline?
It is important to note that in recent years, the legacy of Empress Cixi has been brought into a better light. Published in 2013, the biography titled Empress Dowager Cixi, the Concubine Who Launched Modern China by Zhang Cheng aims to reveal the truth about her impact on the Qing dynasty. For example, despite her alleged negligence, the book shows Cixi's success in reducing starvation, abolishing foot binding, and attempting to establish a constitutional monarchy in the empire's decline. Additionally, Cixi's most infamous story regarding her materialism, especially purchasing a marble boat by embezzling funds meant for China's navy, is actually attributed to Cixi's desire to establish diplomatic ties with Western powers. Although this book paints Cixi's actions in a new light, the author is known to heavily idolize the Empress. While her facts are straight, it is true that her inherent bias towards Cixi affects the reliability of her biography. Despite her biases, the author's perspective as a woman who lived in China since the 1950s is invaluable in showing why Cixi is viewed so negatively. For example, published in 2013, The Good Side of China's Evil Empress is an online newspaper by T. Chen that interviews Zhang Cheng. Aiming to give context to her novel, Cheng asserts that during the rule of communist Mao Zedong, citizens were pushed to hate the democratic Cixi. However, it was during her own research that she began to idolize Cixi, perhaps to a fault. Regardless of her favoritism, her experience as a woman in Mao China opens eyes as to why Cixi has unfairly become the image of Qing dynasty's decline.
Over additional sources making it abundantly clear that it is Cixi being a woman that earned her this status. Fantasy is History, The Invention of Cixi, Empress of China by Christine Doran is a scholarly article published in 2002 that lists a collection of male historians who fear Cixi for her anti-femininity and choose to focus on her sexual promiscuity rather than her actual policy. Notably, one scholar wanted to tap into ideas that in a woman power is inappropriate and illegitimate, portending disaster, and that Cixi as a woman is weak and easily influenced, especially with respect to her sexual relationships. Thus, even though the source isn't a flat-out defense of Cixi's methods, it provides crucial reasoning as to why Cixi has been targeted throughout history.
In conclusion, it's made clear that Cixi's impact on the Qing dynasty and her intentions as a ruler has been unfairly depicted as a result of Mao's regime and, most obviously, the misogyny that remains prominent throughout history. As flawed as she is, her legacy unfairly places her at the fall of the Qing dynasty, ignoring the good that she attempted to maintain despite the empire's inevitable end. However, we propose that while we accept Cixi's failures, it is far more important to focus on what she did rather than what she didn't do. Despite her failures, Cixi should be recognized as the one who abolished foot binding, established a constitutional monarchy, advocated for technological development in China, and though it is arguably the most controversial thing about her, the woman whose materialism paved the way for Chinese culture.
Yeah, thank you for watching.